Hey, what's up, guys? John here. What Joe Biden just said says it all about the economy and where we are headed. I believe we're going to see a massive recession. It's unfortunate to say it. It's a massive recession. And why I say this, we have to take into consideration, we got some really big problems, but what Biden says, it just indicates everything that I was saying was accurate. Now, we all knew that we're going to see, higher gas prices. We all knew that we see, out there, people are spending less and less money. People are scared, right? You have $1 trillion in outstanding credit card debt, 1.46 trillion outstanding auto loans, 1.75 trillion in outstanding student loans. You got inflation at 20, 30%. You got people pulling back, right? But that's not going to be enough. Just pulling back on spending and, trying to, do some creative side hustles and things like that, that's not going to be enough, because what Biden just said is that we are, according to Forbes, he says out loud, the quiet part of the energy transition out loud. Newsweek, backlash, as Biden says, high gas prices are a part of an incredible transition, right? So what this means, it means that gas prices are only going up because over the next month and the next month and the next month, there's going to be less and less and less gasoline available for purchase, right? Less gasoline available for purchase, meaning that the shoes on your feet right now, the plate in front of you, the appliances in your kitchen, everything is going to get more expensive, because what's ultimately going to happen, it's going to cost more for the trucks to distribute and deliver these items to the store for you to purchase, right? So all the costs are going to get passed along to the consumer. So as we're already in this inflationary environment, we have to take into consideration that inflation is actually only going to get worse, because things are only going to cost more and more and more. So as things cost more, there's going to be more of a need for universal basic income programs and stimulus and things like that to offset these costs, which is ultimately going to really restructure America in a really, really big way. Now, what I see happening is I see oil prices skyrocketing over the next 2 years. I think they're going to skyrocket in a very, very big way. And I look at, billionaires like George Soros and Stanley Druckenmiller. They, basically broke the Bank of England, made $1 billion overnight, right? Everyone knows this story, right? But, Stanley just made some very big bets into oil, right? He's betting that oil prices are going to go up. A lot of people, Steven Schwarzman, founder of Blackstone. You have Larry Fink, founder of BlackRock. These big private equity firms and billionaires are all betting that oil prices are going to continue to rise. And with Joe Biden's statement saying that, we're a part of this energy transition, to me what this communicates is they are right and they understand where this is headed. We're heading into a recession, a very, very deep recession. And how this is all going to work is we look at even just the chart since, 1950, 1946. As we go and oil prices increase, what happens? Generally, we hit a recession. We hit major pivots in the economy. May 2008, 170 bucks, bang, it plummeted, right? What happens? This is what happens. We're stepping into this transition. And I think what's going to be unique about this specific situation, because some people say, you know what, John, I can handle the 10% increases or 20% or 30% increase in the store. Maybe people, maybe you are one of those people. You're fortunate enough you can handle, you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans are. But this is what's going to change everything. We look at, whitehouse.gov. They say, here's the situation. And when it comes to gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over, right? So we are moving in this direction, but I find some fascinating things here. America's oil and gas industry supports 10.3 million jobs, right, in the United States. We have 157 million employed Americans. So 1 in 15 people would lose their job. That's substantial, right? Substantial. Eventually 1 in 15 people. It's not going to be overnight. It might be, a million here, a million there. Over the next 5 years, maybe you lose half, and then it just gradually kind of moves in that direction. But I look at states like Texas, for example. Texas has a whopping 35% of their entire economy is based on oil and gas, right? And you also take into consideration the people that are part of the 65% that are not impacted. You have farmers that are reliant on, exporting their foods, right? And shipping their foods and selling their items. these farmers are going to have increased costs, right, with transportation. They're going to have increased costs with labor. They're going to have increased costs with operating their farms. And then all of the small businesses that are not indirectly or not directly impacted, they're going to be indirectly impacted because there's going to be less available liquidity to support those businesses. So when people are leaving places like California and New York and other places and moving to places like Florida and Texas and Tennessee and other locations where there's farming and there's business that relies heavily on oil and gas, you have to ask yourself, what are the impacts going to be over the short term and long term? We're in this massive debt cycle with record high mortgages, record high consumer debt. All these things are coming to a head. How does this play out over the next 6 months, over the next year? When I see the smartest people in the room, and I mentioned this, Q3, Q4, 2021, the smartest people in the world are selling their stock. It's part of, you got to pay attention to that, because the masses, the general, population, they're buying, they're investing right now, and the smartest people are selling. Well, right now, you have the smartest people they're betting oil is going to go up. Stanley Druckenmiller. You have Steven Schwarzman, the CEO of Blackstone. You have Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. They're all saying oil prices are going to continue to rise. You have these people saying oil prices are going to rise. We know that costs are going to continue to rise because mortgage rates and interest rates are going to increase. So everyone's costs are going to be going up, and then oil is going to be going up, forcing costs to go up even more. So it's a triple hit. You have job opportunities that are going to be fading. You have consumer debt that's going to get harder to manage, and then you have rising costs that are going to go across the board. So all this, I think, is also going to push a lot of small businesses under that simply, they don't have the pricing power. They don't have the ability to absorb these costs. So it's going to be a place where, the big corporations are going to have more of a opportunity, right? And so I pay attention to this stuff, and I think we all should, so we can make smart bets as well, because, there's going to be massive opportunities to make a ton of money on the crash in this, in this period. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. You got to pay attention to what's happening. Oil prices are going to be going up. The economy, the stock market is going to be likely going down in a very, very big way, a dramatic fashion. Michael Burry just came out and said, and I actually think he's one of the most astute, smart investors of our time right now. That's, speaking publicly. He said that, in 2008, it's like, being in a plane knowing it's going to crash. There's nothing you can do about it. But it is what it is. And he's saying the same thing. Basically, it's happening now, right? We're witnessing this crash. So it's fascinating to me to just watch the magnitude of this crash and what's actually going to happen. Because what we're going to see is during this crash, we're also going to see this technological innovation, this fourth industrial revolution, all these new jobs being created and all these old industries being destroyed in the name of clean energy, right? So we're going to see all of this wealth just transfer. It's going to be epic, like in an absolutely epic fashion. And we got to all pay attention to this. We have to position ourselves accordingly. We have to hedge ourselves accordingly. Make sure you don't have too much money in a certain investment that may be very, impacted by this change. Make sure you're, putting yourself in a place where you have opportunities, where things do crash. You're able to go out there and invest. You're able to go out there and buy. You're able to go out there and expand. You're able to, take advantage of opportunities, because I'll tell you, it seems like 95% of people don't see what's actually happening, even though they say it themselves. Even though they say it themselves, they just don't want to hear it because it's unpleasant, right? People don't want to take in the information. But if you take in the information and you use the information to your benefit, then you're going to benefit. What do you think about all this? Drop your comments below. Hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. Also, subscribe to my second YouTube channel. It's going to be an interactive show and a podcast this week. So you're going to be able to call in and talk to me, and we'll be able to talk about everything that's happening right now, look at real estate deals, look at really cool data points that most people aren't thinking about and talking about. So definitely do that. There's a link down below in the top comment, and then LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything's in the banner up there. I'll catch you guys later.